Guys, it is
Hello. 11:34,
Yes.
So we're starting a little bit late, but we had a great story about a drug OD, so that was fun.
And then naked men.
Naked men.
Well, naked people.
Yeah, so do you want to introduce yourself first? Go ahead,
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who am I? Hi guys.
What about like spiritually, who are you? It's so late and I'm so sorry.
Do we have time for that? No, I apologize. We are both kind of exhausted.
Sleepy.
So we're kind of silly.
Yeah.
But hello, everyone. My name is Leah, aka Rouge. Faun photography. It's not Rogue.
You know how to spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't know. It's fine.
I didn't know. I was like, how long can we be friends before I have to tell them that they don't know how to spell rogue? But then I realized that no, that was on purpose.
No. So yeah, essentially I am the photography side of this panel.
What do you do? Give me some stats. How long have you been doing this? Who are you?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm an awful person and you're here with me.
It's true.
Thanks.
No, so, well, technically, I've been handling cameras since I was a small child. So it's kind of destiny, you know. I've been doing con photography since Anime Week in Atlanta 2015? No. Yes. Anime Week in Atlanta 2015. So that's a few years, I think.
It's a bit, yeah.
Yeah. And basically I've always been the person in the family to take all of the photos, and then I bought a camera from my brother for $50, and I was like, man, you know, this would be fun to do. So I was able to start going to conventions, and then I slowly just started doing more photos, and then it has turned into me having a slow building business. So yes. Now who are you?
Hi, my name is KiiCosplays. It's real simple, just my name and cosplays. I had a stat a little while ago and I don't remember it, but I want to say it's like I've done over 30 or 40 photo shoots. I was trying to count them. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of different characters. I've worked with a lot of different photographers in a lot of different places, and Leah's my favorite.
I was gonna say, I'm your favorite,
yes.
Right? Damn. Oh no!
I thought that went, like the speakers went out when you slammed the table. Okay. I've been cosplaying since I was like 12 or 13, but I only started really like putting a lot of time and effort into it since when I was like 17 or 18 when I started, you know, having my own income and such, and I am only 20 years old, so unfortunately I can only have so much life experience. But I've packed a lot into that in 3 years.
Yes.
I am but a wee baby.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of break this down into 3 different steps, or 3 different categories, which is things you should remember before the shoot, during the shoot, and after the shoot. And if at any point the PowerPoint looks funky, just holler because I can't see it.
Yes, please tell us.
Do you want me to go? Do you want to go?
I mean, yours is on the...
You are correct. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do as a cosplayer is you're going to want to find a photographer that you can work with. So I would definitely recommend, first and foremost, always be safe. Look for someone who has worked with people previously. Preferably they have some kind of reviews either on their Facebook page, their Instagram. Some people have like official websites if they're like really fancy. Just make sure that people have testified that this is like a legitimate person. People can steal photos, and obviously there can be harassment issues, so just make sure that the person that you are contacting about a photo shoot is a legitimate person.
Yes.
That's big number 1. Sorry, my cord is like that. So I would definitely also recommend, like, when you're scrolling through their portfolio, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or
An actual website.
A website or Tumblr or like whatever you use, whatever your preferred method of looking through photographers are. I would recommend looking for a style that you already like for your shoot. So I'm thinking of a friend of mine who does photography, and he does like all of these like cool magical effects, and I do a bunch of like high fantasy like magical character costumes. So when I saw him do this, I was like, oh, this is like perfect. And I was right. But I know if I had those kind of photos like in mind and then gone to a photographer who maybe didn't do a lot of like cool weird edit effects, I would be like disappointed. But there are some costumes.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry. You're great. You're valid. But like there are some costumes that I would rather photograph in like more realistic settings without like a bunch of fancy magical stuff. And then I would choose a photographer who was like really good with that. Or I'm trying to think. So I have photographers that I like absolutely love their work, and there was someone that I was like, oh, I really want to work with them. I really want to work with them. And I realized after the fact that I'd only ever seen their outdoor photography. I hadn't seen what they could do with indoor lighting. And it ended up like pouring rain, so our whole photo shoot had to be inside. And just indoor lighting wasn't their strong point. So the photos didn't end up like what I would have liked them to be, and like unfortunately the weather was kind of like that. But like had I known that in advance, I might have said like, can we just reschedule for tomorrow or another con or whatever. Need a breath.
I can say something while you take a breath.
Go for it.
So every photographer is different. So like Kii said, a lot of people have different styles. I can't do any of the fancy things. I've already used my one swear word for the panel.
No more swearing.
No more swearing. I can't do the fancy things. So I do a lot of like, I only do natural lighting. There is a difference. Some photographers are amazing at using artificial lighting, and then some are like me, and I
do natural.
I can't do any artificial lighting, so I mostly work with natural. So just when you are creating a costume, and you're looking to book a photo shoot, try and imagine in your head what kind of shoot you're dreaming about, and then you can kind of be like, oh, this photographer works.
Yeah. And sometimes it definitely helps to know the con, which like is hard if you've never actually been there before. But like if you look up pictures that other people have done, so like there's a con I love to go to, MetroCon, and like I said, I do a lot of like high fantasy type stuff, and there's like nowhere that's even vaguely nature-y in anywhere around MetroCon, and so it's really hard to shoot those costumes there. But here at Momocon, there's like parks, and there's like little outdoor areas, and even the indoor, like the walls look almost like a castle in some places. So like imagining that kind of thing too, and like doing as much of your own research as you can. Another thing that you definitely want to do is research poses, research like that kind of thing, because I'm sure the worst thing for a photographer is me yesterday when I was really tired and you were like, do some poses, and I just kind of stood there and was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I was so tired.
Yeah, honestly, please, for the sake of your photographers, research poses, because I don't know how to pose people. You may have someone who knows how to pose you, but you don't want to take that chance, especially if you're paying for a photo shoot. Yeah. You should always visualize kind of what you want from a photo shoot, and pay attention to your character. Yeah,
and a lot of photographers can offer suggestions, but they shouldn't be like picking every pose for you. So like a lot of times I'll get, you need to tilt your chin up, because I like tend to like double chin myself in photos a lot. Or like if I say like, I think I'm out at like, I can't think of something, but this character is courageous, this character is confident, then people can kind of work with that. So even if you don't have every single pose nailed down, it's really good to like have just like a few word description of your character, because not every photographer is gonna know who you're cosplaying. What I like to do is I will put them all in like, I'll just like take fan art or like screenshots or whatever, and I'll just kind of put them all in a Google Doc, and I'll like dump them there, and then before the con I'll like download all of them. which I didn't do for this con because I had a lot going on.
Quick note, if you do download fan art, make sure you credit the artist.
Absolutely.
I will find you
Yes.
and haunt you if you don't credit fan artists.
Yes, yeah, if you're copying anyone's art, like, with your costume, obviously credit them. I tend to just, like, I don't take the exact pose. I'm just kind of like, that's a good, like...
Yeah, if it... I
like,
mean,
oh, that character likes to lean on walls. Let me, like, lean on a wall.
There's a difference between inspired and recreating a photo.
Yeah. So make sure your costume is complete, or, like, as complete as you can make it. Like, wearable works in progress is definitely a thing. But you need to be aware that, like, your photographer can't finish your costume for you. So, like, if you show up and you don't have a wig, that's, like, a you problem. They can't, like, put a wig on you.
There's only so much Photoshop can fix.
And, like, if there's, like, a little thing, like, I had a friend and, like, she had a bodysuit and one of the nails fell off. So she told the photographer in advance, and the photographer was able to, like, edit the nail into some of the photos where it was, like, really clearly missing. So, like, little stuff, they can definitely tweak. Or I'll say, like, before a shoot, I'll be like, oh, like, my shirt tends to ride up, so just, like, tell me, and so I'll just pull it back down. And it's also good to make photographers aware of any movement limitations. So I'm a disabled person, and I also wear a lot of stilettos because, I don't know, I like them. And so sometimes they're like, can you climb up this staircase? And, like, no, I can't, unfortunately. Or, like, I have costumes that, like, I can't really sit in or I can't really turn in. And it's good to just, like, right out of the way be like, I'm not able to, like, move my arm, or I'm not able to, like, squat or sit, or if I sit, I can't really get back up, et cetera, just so, because, like, photographers are going to keep suggesting poses like that until you tell them, like, no, I can't do that. And then it just makes it a little easier for everyone. Another thing, the last thing.
This is very important.
So if you're a cosplayer and you have a bigger following, and if a photographer approaches you and says, like, I would just love to take some photos for you, don't worry about payment, that's okay. But you as a cosplayer should never say, hey, will you take photos of me for free? I'll advertise for you. Because a lot of photographers, even if it's not their main source of income, it does fund them at least going to the con. So, like, they need to fill their photos for their photo slots with paid shoots.
Yes.
And I'm sure you can talk more on that and your budgeting and everything.
Yes.
But just don't do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to build from that. It's like, you know, if your heart doctor was like, oh yeah, I can do this surgery for you. No, you approached your heart doctor and like, can you do this surgery for me? I'll post about you on my Facebook. Yeah, it's like, it's just, my policy is if I approach someone first, I don't expect them to pay. If they approach me first, I'm like, okay, here are my rates. So that's a general rule of thumb that I think is good to listen to.
Because a lot of photographers, and I know a lot of photographers will do this, they will offer free shoots to cosplayers that they admire, or like if they see a specific costume that they really like that's pretty normal, but you should never expect that. Yeah. Because then you're just saying like, I'm not willing to pay you, but I want your service anyway. Which like, if you did that in a restaurant or
imagine going to the artist alley
and being like, I like your art, can I just have it? I'll post it on my Instagram. It's like not cool. No.
Okay. So I'm going to move on from that. If you are looking to get into photography or you just want to know about like the photography side about it, I will be talking about that. So for photographers, be very transparent about your prices and what your clients are paying for. So I do my shoots by time slot. I've changed it a lot. I do 45 minutes and 20 minutes. And I have different prices for each of those. And then it depends on, so number of shots. If you're doing a 45-minute shoot with me, I give you 15 to 20 photos. I used to give like 30 photos. And I was dying. And then another important thing is printing rights. So if you guys don't know this, Legally, the person who clicks the shutter is the one who owns the photo. So if you plan on selling prints or posting to Patreon or anything, it's a bit tricky there, even if it's morally like, so at one time I wanted to sell prints and I was researching it because I was like, oh, who owns the rights? Can I technically sell photos of people? And it's correct, I can, but I feel weird about just selling people's images, so I didn't do that.
Can I?
Yes.
Yeah, so as a cosplayer, I don't own the rights to photos people take of me, even if I made the costume, even if I bought the costume, even if I paid for the photos to be taken of me. But if I wanted to sell prints, which I don't currently sell prints of photos that I didn't take just because I can't afford it, but I would then go to the photographer and I would say, hey, I'm interested in getting a print to sell of this photo you took. Some photographers, I've had some that say you get free printing rights when you pay me for the shoot. Some photographers will say, yes, it's X amount of money and you can just print as many as you want. Some photographers say, like, I want 10% of your sales or 20%.
Yeah.
So you need to just ask and you need to honor what they say. And if it's not something you can afford, don't sell the print because it's not your photo and it is technically illegal.
Yep. So like I said, technically whoever presses the shutter on the camera owns the rights to those photos. Okay, so another important thing is to location scout. Sometimes it can be hard. Like I went to KatsuCon and I've never been, and I was like, you know, I don't know where to shoot. I tried looking and then I was like, you know, that you want to have an idea in your head of where you would like to shoot. So what I did for KatsuCon is I looked through Instagram and I was like, what are these notable places that I could see doing a shoot at? And like we went on the beach, so I decided on that. Also, an important thing is to, of course, discuss a time and a place to meet. Generally, I say, like at KatsuCon, I was like, meet me by the gazebo, or here at Momocon, I'm like, meet me by registration. So just a general, easily accessible area to meet is a good idea. Do you have, okay.
Yeah, keep going there.
Okay.
I would definitely say, at least for me, be able to give like a general landmark of a meeting place. Don't say like, oh, I know exactly where we want to shoot and it's like 5 trees down from the last sidewalk in the park, because then I'm going to waste half of our shoot time trying to figure out where that is. Sorry, that went out for a second. So like, even if the place that we're meeting isn't exactly the place that we're shooting, if you just say like, meet me at the entrance to the park and then we can walk together to the end of the park, that's a lot easier because then I know where I'm going, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So for the next part, an important thing is to consider getting a contract or having guidelines. I have a fellow photographer friend who calls them agreements, not contracts, because it sounds a little nicer.
Right. Yeah, I say contract. I also work in like a professional office. So I wrote contract on this. But.
So that is good to essentially cover your behind.
No swear words in my panel.
Yeah, legally. I know models can have contracts or agreements as well.
Yeah.
It's basically, you can lay out all of the expectations. I've looked at buying a template for myself, and it's essentially like...
Dude, I'll make you one.
It's essentially like photographer name here and client name here agree that, you know, the shoot will take place at so-and-so time, and they will receive how many photos in this amount of time. So I think that is great. Another good thing to have is just general guidelines.
I would say cancellation guidelines are really important.
Yes. So cancellations are a pain in the ass.
You do with it really well, though, because you're very flexible. Some photographers, they're booked back to back to back to back, and they can't be, and that's totally fine. Like, you need to be on time for your shoots if you're a cosplayer. But I always, because I am disabled, and sometimes it takes me a long time to get places, so I always do ask what someone's cancellation policy is. Like, if we go, like, if I'm late, can we extend the time? Do you want me to come back later? Is it just a no, sorry? And I try to pick people who are more flexible, but like, for a lot of people that's not always possible, just because they book, you know, like 20 shoots a day or something crazy.
So cancellations, tardiness, and like stuff like deposits, like I require half down, and that's non-refundable unless it's something on my end. So it just kind of lays out the photographer's expectations, and if you don't agree with their expectations, or you know, you don't think it's a right fit, that's okay. But it's good to have that kind of thing.
And it's good to just be clear in advance, because like there's no like big mean photographer who has bad guidelines. It's just like different people work differently. Like I feel like if I was a photographer, I would 100% be the like, sorry you're late, you're no show, like sorry kind of person, because I'm a very schedule driven person, and I try my hardest to like not be late for anything. But some people are like more go with the flow. Or like I did a shoot with someone today, and it was like it got pushed back an hour, and they were just like, this is just how it is with me, and I was like, I'm a schedule brain, and this is giving me anxiety, but like, okay. And we just have a little different style when it comes to that, and like they're not wrong and I'm not wrong, we're just a little different.
The reason why I developed my cancellation and tardiness policy is because I was at a convention last year. I was shooting a group, and half of the group was 45 minutes late. And and then I had a shoot with them next day, and half of the group again was an hour late. So and I had to speak with them and tell them that not every photographer is going to be as accommodating as me, and you know, it's photographer to photographer. Things not going as planned makes me really anxious, so I'm like, I cannot,
that's a big same.
I try to be accepting because I have a lot of disabled friends. I myself am disabled, so it's just, I try to be as accommodating as possible.
And like sometimes things do happen. I was at KatsuCon, and we got on the elevator to go to the floor where the shoot was, and the elevator opened on that floor, and they wouldn't let me out because I had my walker, which is kind of bulky, and they wouldn't get out of the way for me. So we ended up having to ride the elevator all the way up and all the way back down. And so I was like 30 minutes late, and I was like crying, apologizing, because I hate being late to things. But the photographer at that point was like, dude, like I get you, like we'll finish, like we'll do half your shoot now, half later. And like, so I feel like communication is very, very important, because like there's a difference between like being late because you're bad at planning and didn't roll out of bed until 20 minutes before your shoot, which I have also done that.
And then being
late because
legitimate reasons,
you know, people wouldn't let you by, you got lost, you lost your badge, etc., etc. So like a lot of people will be as flexible as they can, given you try your hardest to be there when you said you were going to be there. And if you're not a morning person, don't book morning shoots. Just book later.
Don't take advantage of people's flexibility is a good thing. Also, for photographers, please be honest about your skill level in editing.
Like you said, you're natural light.
I'm natural light, and I do basic color editing. I have been known to I can do simple makeup touch-ups, I can do basic background changes, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you can book a shoot with me. I can, you know, make a full composite image and, I don't know, Photoshop a dragon into your photo. I can't do that.
And like, that's okay, because that's what a lot of people are looking for, is just some like nice natural light photos. Like I would say that's the standard for what a lot of people at cons are looking for. But like sometimes, like with me, there was like a shoot that I had like planned really well in my mind, and I was like, I want these like specific fire effects in it. And I went to like, you can't, that's why I was like, I think I'm not going to contact Leah for this shoot because that's not your thing.
I can't do fire.
That's okay. And so I contacted like a few people, and like someone was like, like I don't know, but like we can try it. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good enough answer for my dream shoot. And so like then I went back to my other friend who does all these effects, and he was like, yeah, like no problem, that's right up my alley. And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
But if someone had like lied to me and I had been like, Leah, can you do these like cool fire effects? And Leah had been like, I want money.
Yeah, of course.
Then like we were both going to be unhappy because you'd be trying to do this thing that you didn't really know how to do, and then it like probably wouldn't be done.
I would be very frustrated.
Yeah, it wouldn't
with
be done in
myself.
like a timely manner, and it probably wouldn't be what I was asking for.
No.
But like by then, like the con's over, you can't fix it, you can't redo it. So just like be honest. Like there are people that want what you can do.
Yes. Okay. So next point: charge your batteries, empty your memory cards, and double check your packing list. So I have a bad habit of forgetting things when I'm at home. So I have a lot of batteries, and sometimes I forget to charge them, and sometimes I leave them at home. So now I have my friends, whenever we have a photo shoot, they're like, Leah, did you bring your batteries? And sometimes it gets annoying, but then I'm like, oh yeah, I need to be asked that because I have terrible memory.
But I feel like part of that's definitely like a habit thing.
Yes.
Because I've noticed it definitely has happened less like the longer you've been doing stuff.
Just if you also have memory issues, you can set reminders on your phone. You can make lists. You can have people remind you. It's up to you. There's a lot of ways to do it. It's just whatever works best for you. Empty your memory cards. Back up your photos. I
lost my shoot a year ago today.
Yeah. Last Momocon, I had to do about $200 in returns because I had bought a laptop a week before MomoCon. I didn't think to back up my photos, and then it died on me, so I lost $200 worth of photo shoots. And
you can't do anything about that.
No.
Like you can't get them back.
No, you can't. I did not book them up, and I had to completely wipe the computer, and I felt so bad. So please triple back up your photos.
Yeah. What's like, do you have like a preferred method of doing that? Like I put all of my photos on like an external 1 terabyte hard drive.
So what I do is I will leave them on my camera, I will export them to my hard drive, and then I will leave them on my laptop. That may be overkill.
But it happened once, so it can happen again.
Yes, I will not let it happen again. Are you leaving, friend?
No, I'm trying to get water.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think there's any water
There's no
in
water
here.
there.
Yeah, I think it's empty.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, friend.
There's a water fountain right by the elevators, which is at the end of the
Oh, sweet. Water
Oh,
fountain right there.
shit.
It's okay. I just said hell yeah. It's fine.
Okay, but you didn't have the cuss word limit. Oh.
Why is this going all the way to the end? Didn't agree. Okay, though.
I will not allow it.
Oh my god. Okay.
Hold on. Hold, please.
No, it's fine.
Is it fine?
This is what I was trying to do from the beginning, and it didn't
Oh,
work.
okay. Wait, we got this.
Okay.
This was planned.
There we go.
Okay.
Go for it. Oh, me.
I
I'm
can
sorry.
go first
You
now
can go
if
if
you
you
want to. We can just switch.
Yeah.
Okay. So rules for during the shoot. Please ask before touching your clients. I feel like that should be a general rule for everybody. It's just you can never be too careful. A lot of people have like sensory problems.
Or they just don't like being
Yeah.
Like I don't like being touched, but if somebody asks and they're trying to help me pose, like I will say yes. But you gotta ask first, or I'm gonna like like
Yeah, you can
turtleneck
make-
and like scrunch my face and
Yes.
ruin my makeup and ruin all the photos.
Please ask before
Yeah.
you just touch
And
people
like
in
it
general.
sometimes like touching people during a shoot is very helpful because like a lot of times someone will be like, can you turn like this? And I'm like this, and like I just don't get it like visually, so like someone will come and they'll like move my arm and I'm like, oh sorry, I didn't get it.
Yes. Another thing is if you are able to show back of camera shots. So what you like as a photographer or what your photographer likes may not be the same thing you are looking for in a photo. So if I find something beautiful, my client may not agree, and they may be like, oh, I don't know, my head was turned the wrong way, or I stuck the wrong hand up. So, and there's not really a way to fix that unless you show them during the shoot.
Yeah. And you don't have to like take 20 minutes to like analyze them. It's just a quick like click through, like, is this kind of what we're going for?
Does this look okay?
Yeah, yes.
Fidgy! Hello!
And I've noticed, like, I actually was in a shoot today, and it was a boudoir shoot, so I was, like,
Getting
not,
spicy?
yeah, I was not super dressed. And there was a photo, and I was like, I really want a photo from this angle. And then we took the photo, and I realized, like, with the costume I had on, it was, like, definitely it gave, like, a completely different vibe than I thought it was going to, and I looked, like, very young. Which I was like 100%, and like she was like, I don't think this is what you mean, and I was like, what do you mean? Like in my mind it looks really cool, and then she showed me the photo and I was like, no, you're right, delete it immediately, turn it off,
yes.
We're not doing that, you're right. And like, but I wouldn't have known otherwise, because I was like, I want to take this photo, and it looked like strange and I didn't think it was going to, but like when she showed it to me I was like, no, you're right, like. And if she hadn't showed it to me, she probably would have like edited it and sent it to me, and I would have been like, oh, you put all this time into this photo that's like not what I want.
Okay. Another thing you can do is offer posing suggestions as a photographer, or what does that say?
If someone seems stuck or shy.
If someone seems stuck or shy. So, if you can pose people, unlike myself, you can be like, you should try this, or you should try moving your arm like this.
Or even if it's not a full pose, being like, when you hold your face like that, you get a double chin a little bit, so maybe like stick your head. Because I that's like my thing.
He does that a lot.
I do a lot of like this because I'm really tall, so I feel like I have to look down at people sometimes, and it gives me like too many chins. I only should have one. Or like sometimes I do like weird things with my hands and they end up looking like weird and angular, so someone's like, just like relax your hands for a second, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
You can always be like,
or you know, turn to the side maybe, because sometimes like poses look really good but they look really bad like dead on, so if you just like angle a little bit, and like as a cosplayer you can't see that because you can't see the camera.
Yes.
So just like little adjustments, even if you're not.
That's why you
doing
should
full
suggest changes or offer advice, but also show the back of the camera previews. Okay, what else? Oh,
wardrobe malfunctions.
Wardrobe malfunctions.
Lose my shirt a little bit because that's like constant in this costume.
Yes. So sometimes
you don't see it, and that's okay.
And sometimes your photographer can see it. I like to fix wigs a lot, so if a friend, their wig is like this, I'm like, can I touch you and fix your wig? Because sometimes wigs like to do what they like to do, and costumes end up wonky, so, you know.
And it saves you editing trouble.
Yes.
If you are able to like just have someone like fix their wig, or like, there was one photographer that I worked with, and like bless his heart, I had a jacket and like the base of it, like the vest part would like flip up a lot, and I like didn't even think about it the whole shoot, and every single photo my vest was like half inside out, and I was like, oh, like, and he probably didn't notice. I'm sure he didn't notice, but if he did notice, like, I'm coming to get him because I'm so mad still because the photos were great other than that.
So just keep an eye on the costume, and
for what you can. And like, it's always good if someone tells you in advance, like, hey, sometimes my wig does this, or like, if my ear starts tilting, please tell me and I'll stick it back on.
If this boot isn't right,
Yeah.
please adjust. You can, if you also have a friend with you at the shoot, you can ask your friend to look out for wardrobe malfunctions. So another thing, please check your settings frequently. My hands like to change my camera settings all the time. And I'm like, why is this overexposed? Oh wait, I moved into like action shots. So just make sure you check those, make sure you're at the right exposure and everything like that. And
me, okay, so if you can at all, it's so helpful to have an extra person at your shoot. A lot of times these people are called handlers, but it doesn't have to be like your full-time cosplay handler. It can just be like someone who's hanging out with your shoot. They're really, really helpful, whether it be to like just watch your bag or like block people from like walking in front of your shot, or like if you have like a flowy cape and they can like throw your cape, or like all of just these little things that it's just helpful to have an extra set of hands because you're posing, so you can't use your hands.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
This is also a safety issue. If you have never shot with a photographer before, please bring a friend.
Or do it in a very public space.
Yes. I mean, you should always, Please don't be like, this photographer approached me 2 days ago and he wants me to go to his hotel room to do a boudoir shoot.
Yeah, please bring someone.
Don't do that.
And if any photographer, whether it's boudoir or not, but this usually happens with boudoir, says, I don't want you to bring someone, that's a no.
That's a warning sign.
That's a hard no. Unless I'm shooting with a very, very close friend, there will always be someone else in the room while I'm doing that. But like I said, like an extra pair of hands, just always super helpful and like always good for safety reasons.
Yes.
Especially if you don't know them. Like there are plenty of photographers that I know that like, I know I don't need to bring someone safety wise and like, cause I know them and I've shot with them before. But if it's a new photographer, like absolutely, like people will know where I'm going, they will know who I'm meeting, someone will come with me and I will tell them when I'm done with the shoot. Just stranger danger, buddy system, general situation.
I also like to lay on the ground and it's nice to have someone to like
help
support me. Or yesterday I went to the aquarium and I laid in the tunnel and I was like, can you just make sure people don't step on me?
Yeah, because like a lot of photographers, like they do like get on the ground or they get up on stuff, and just having like a hand is really helpful for that. Or even like me, like in my heels, like getting up and down off the ground. Like I can do it on my own, but it's really helpful if I shot like a hand. Another thing that's really important is communicate whether you do or don't like the direction a shoot is going. So like a lot of times the photographer won't know your character, and so they see your costume and they're like, oh, that's like seems like a really like cute, like a lot of people are like, oh, like that seems like a really like cutesy character, and then you're like, no, they're like kind of like
they murder people
or like something like that. So like they're suggesting things, they're doing like angle stuff, and it doesn't fit the character and they just don't know. So it's like, again, like having some descriptive words for your character is always great. And then if you're seeing shots or they're like giving you directions and you don't agree with it, you can say you don't agree with it because you are paying for the shoot.
It is your money.
It is your money. Spend it wisely.
Okay, Mom.
You should, it's your money, spend it wisely. I'm your mother now. Another thing that's really important, bring water and bring anything that you need to touch up your costume, whether that is like body paint or eyelash glue or bobby pins or paint or like whatever it is. Just bring it with you. If you don't need it, that's great. You've carried a heavy bag, but if you do need it and you don't have it, like the shoot's already happening, you can't like leave and go back to your hotel room to get it. A lot of photographers are really great and they do have things like bobby pins or like a needle and thread or like little things, but if you have something like especially like specific to your costume, like just bring it. If you don't have it, like go to the cosplay repair station, but that's going to be taking time out of your shoot if the shoot's already started.
If you want to be someone's favorite photographer, bring them water. And
I had someone at KatsuCon bring me hand warmers because we were shooting outside and I was cold because I was in shorts.
I am part photographer, part handler. I always have a first aid kit, extra water, bobby pins, and anything I need. Last year at Anime Week in Atlanta, I was shooting someone and they had wings, So, and the wings weren't staying up, so I took like a Band-Aid and some bobby pins and fastened them to my client's back so they would stay up during the shoot.
Yeah, so like you can get really creative, but like the more you prep for, the better. Or like bringing like your lipstick, your eyeliner, if you're doing a bunch of makeup. Body paint, always bring your body paint.
Setting spray.
Like oil blotting stuff, like anything that you may or may not need throughout the day, just bring it to your photo shoot. It's so much easier to touch up on the spot than have to like stop the shoot, go somewhere, especially if the photographer is busy. And then ask if you need something, ask if you need water, if you need a break, if you need to go to a different location. If you need anything, you just have to say it. Don't like suffer for like 45 minutes or an hour or 20 minutes.
If
you need to pee really bad, try to pee before your shoots. But if don't hurt yourself because you just want to get through the shoot. I was in a shoot last December and I had this big pair of wings on and it had broken, but it was staying together like just enough to do this shoot. And I was like, I'm good. And it was like stabbing me in the back because it was broken. You've heard this story, I think.
I have. Those bitches.
And it got to the point where they were like, can you do this pose? And I said, instead of like communicating what I needed, which was I need to sit down right now, I was like, can I do a pose like on one knee? And they were like, oh yeah, that would be cool. And they started taking pictures. And then all of a sudden it was, I'm gonna pass out. And like, I hadn't said it until I was like in the process of passing out. And that was really scary. And like, luckily I had a friend there and it was like good. And we like got up and we like chilled for a second and I finished the shoot. But like, I didn't say anything. And I feel so bad for that photographer. Like she later was kind of rude to me, but like in the moment I felt really bad that I like hadn't said anything. But I was like, I'm just gonna get through the shoot and then I can take it off and it's fine, it's gonna be fine. And it like definitely was not fine. So like, don't push, like if you're in pain or if you're hungry, if you're thirsty, just like, you can take 10 minutes out of your shoot time. Like it will not be the end of the world and it will probably be better than going to the hospital, which is almost where I was.
Please don't go to the hospital.
No. All right, after the shoot. The shoot's over. We've done it.
Wow, we did it. We're here.
We got to the shoot. Do you want to?
Yeah, okay. So please communicate. Hold on.
You got this.
Photographers, please communicate about wait times, delays, or issues.
Yeah. Cosplayers, please be understanding about wait times, delays, or issues.
Please. So,
photographers are people. They're human beings.
We have lives. Believe it or not, some of us are also in relationships. I know that is a fabled thing for a photographer, that we have lives and or relationships. But essentially, some people are able to make it a full-time thing. Other people do it as a side hustle. So editing photos takes a lot of time and energy. So just be understanding of the time and energy that goes into photos. Like, especially if you're getting like wild composite
effects,
images, like that could take anywhere from like 2 to 5 hours. So per photo. Yeah, no, that's not like all your photos. That is per photo. So just
communicate.
Yes.
Like if you have a delay, if you get sick, if someone gets sick, if you're moving, if you're doing something, just say like, hey, just a heads up, like I'm moving, but I will try to have your photos done in a week. And then a week happens and you're not quite done. Just be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I've been moving. Give me like 3 more days. Be honest. Don't say like they'll be done tomorrow and then like don't talk to them for 3 months. I'm begging about a photographer. But like just be honest. Most people are super understanding, from my knowledge at least. I don't know about on your end. All of cosplayers that I know, like they understand. A lot of times they're a little frustrated, but I would
actually
hope. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I think highly of people. I shouldn't, I guess.
Don't be so optimistic, Ki.
I'm sorry.
So kind of a horror story from a client. I did free photos for a friend, and they would be like, Oh yeah, so can I get those photos? Oh yeah. When are my photos coming? And then I was like, hey, I want to do this shoot in town. And they're like, no, not until I get my photos back. And I'm like, okay, but your photos were free.
Yeah, also if somebody offers to take photos of you for free, you have no right to demand them quickly.
For free photos, it could take anywhere from like 2 weeks to a year. So be patient.
Photographers should, at least, and I know most, I would say all the photographers I know they do their paid work first.
Mm-hmm. You should.
You should, I think. As someone who pays for photo shoots, please do them first. Because those are the people that are paying. They are the people that could choose to or to not purchase from you again. So you want to make sure that they have a good experience.
Yes. And honestly, just be transparent.
Like Leah was like, hey, I lost your photos. And I was like, okay, let's do something else.
You were the easy one.
I was the easy, was I? Yeah, like things happen. Everyone's a person.
Don't lie and make it worse. And also, like, I have a lot of mental health issues, so I'm like, hey, I'm having a breakdown. I'm sorry, your photos will be late.
Yeah. And
Please.
like, it just, like, it happens.
It happens. Like, shit happens.
Like, everyone is a person. Cosplayers are people. Photographers are people. If you've ever had like your Amazon package delivered late and they're like, I'm so sorry the delivery driver got into a crash, or like, I'm so sorry the plane didn't take off. Like everything, like sometimes things just happen.
Life happens.
As much as you can, be understanding. I worked with a photographer once who was like, they'll be here tomorrow for like 6 months, and that's like a lot of understanding, but I tried really hard.
Yes, know your personal limits.
Yeah.
Okay, so for cosplayers.
Oh no, you've got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have one more. You can ask for reviews or testimonials. That word is hard for.
Which kind of cycles back around to before your shoot when people are looking for reviews.
Yes. So it kind of makes you seem more professional. And it also, just like any business, lets you know what you're doing wrong. And it gives you a way to kind of be like, yeah, this person said I was wonderful. You can read about their experience.
And I have personally, one time that I can remember at least, there was someone that offered me a free shoot and I didn't know who they were. And I was like, can I talk to some of the people that you've worked with before? And they said yes. So I messaged someone and I was like, hey, I saw you work with this photographer. Like, are they legit? Are they good? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I just wanted to like make sure that I was not getting myself in a sketchy situation. And then I shot with them and it was great. But like, had I not had a like review testimonial from someone, I probably wouldn't have accepted the shoot, just because I was going to be in like a fairly scantily clad costume, and it was going to be like later in the day, and I didn't really like know anyone that would want to go with me, and so I was like, I don't like know this man. I don't know if that's a good. If someone's having a good time.
Yeah. What is the floors vibrating?
Oh, it's the rave. We're right next to the rave. Cool.
These kids are getting crazy.
All ages rave, my dude. Anyway, so like it's really good. Like photographers talk and cosplayers talk. So like this photographer that I waited 6 months and like never got photos from, like all of my friends know that I waited 6 months and never got photos from them.
People talk.
Yeah.
News. It's like high school except on the internet.
Yeah. And like I don't gossip, but I let people know like this was a scam. I paid money. This person ghosted me for 6 months. Use your resources. There's, I don't want to get into like call out culture, but just be wary if there's, reviews about this photographer being gross. Yeah. Like, please protect yourself. That's why you bring a friend. Bring a friend also, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Let me wrap this up. So give photographers time to work. I, like every other cosplayer, want my photos like the day of the con. Like I'm so excited and I want them like immediately. And like that's just not how it works. Photography and editing takes a long time, and I don't think I even fully grasped this until I started trying to edit my own photos. And I was like, why is this taking an hour? Because I don't know what I'm doing. It must not be why. And I was like, no, this is like what photographers do all day. Yeah. like editing is like a whole just other layer, and that's what makes the photos look so good. And so like if you want something to post the day of the con, ask your friend to take a few like cell phone photos to like tide you over until photographers can get back to you, which is what I do. Because like sometimes I like, especially with the new costume, I'm like, I want to post it right now, and like I'm not getting professional photos back immediately, and like I know that, and like try to know that, and like try to be flexible. Tip your photographer if you can. If you had a good experience, just like slide them some dollars. Or like if you like, several times I've been like, can I like buy you like a snack or like a drink or a meal, even if it's not like you can hand, like if you don't have extra money to hand them, that's okay. But I will always at least try to be like, can I get you like a soda? Can I get you candy bar? Or like if I especially enjoyed myself and they're not busy, or like later if they're like, oh, I'm like shooting for 5 hours, I'll be like, can I like bring you some like, I bring you a dinner, like a little box dinner, or like can I bring you water or something? Just like be nice, like do a little extra something. It's really nice. Photographers are often like on the ground running around for like hours at a time. So like if someone's like nice and like great throughout the whole photo shoot, I'm like, I'm so happy that you are so happy and you're making me have a good time.
You're doing great.
You're doing great. Thanks for being here.
Proper credit.
Proper credit in post. So it's always good. Always credit your photographer. Some photographers have a specific way that they like to be credited, and that's okay. Some photographers, I've actually only met one that does this, they want their credit to be the first thing in any caption that you post. Stop. Or like some of them, like what my go-to is doing like the camera emoji and then like at their username. Some people want like photo was taken by, or like photo credit to, like they want some specific wording. So just like make sure you know that, because like you need to credit them properly. The photo is their intellectual property and you need to credit them the way that they would like to be credited. Don't edit or crop a photo without permission, so don't put a filter over it. Several times I've shot with a photographer and I noticed just like I do a lot of body paint, so like my arm socks are down a little bit, so I'll just be like, hey, like I know you're busy, you're doing other shoots, is it okay if I just like paint myself pink right there? And 90% of the time the answer is like, yeah, go for it. Some photographers prefer to do it themselves, and that's fine. Some photographers don't want you to edit anything, and if you want something edited after you receive your edits, they want to do it, which is fine. I guess it's getting into like controversial territory, hopefully it's not.
Oh boy.
I had a shoot, and we were in like a parking garage type area, and so my skin tone sometimes, like I have very red undertones and it looked really weird, and this lighting was just not, like the situation was not the best, and like this photographer did his absolute best to make it look good, but what he did is he pulled all of the pink undertones out of my skin to try and make it match like the grunginess. And what he didn't realize, because he was just staring at them for so long and he honestly didn't notice, was by pulling all of my undertones out, he just turned me brown, which is not quite my skin tone. And so I messaged him and I was like, I know this probably wasn't your intent. If it was your intent, like give me my money back, but like it probably wasn't your intent. But that's not my true skin tone. And I don't want to give the impression that I am trying to look darker than I actually am. So I don't know how it was edited. I don't know if like it was the lighting, but if there's anything you could do, that would be great. And he was like, oh my God, like I didn't even notice, and he fixed them and it was fine. I wouldn't have known how to fix that. So like, I'm glad that he was like, oh yeah, I got you. Because I probably wouldn't use the photos otherwise.
A quick thing as well. If a page like a company that you use, a product, you know, they own it, they're like, hey, or they repost it, or they're like, can we share this?
You have to say credit to the photographer.
Make sure they credit your photographer, because nothing sucks more than seeing your photo and not being credited for it.
Yeah. And like sometimes, unfortunately, it is out of the cosplayer's hands and they do it like without even asking, which I have in my Instagram bio and all of my social media bios, ask to repost, because if somebody asks me to repost, my answer will be yes if you credit the photographer, and I will be very explicit about that. And if I see someone use one of my photos and not credit the photographer, I will message the page and say, take this down if you're not going to credit them, because that's not cool with me. I'm also very aggressive sometimes, but like I will like fight for my photographers. So like credit your photographers, don't edit things. And then if you had a good time, like offer like a review if they do that. I've had some photographers who I'm like, can I review you? And they're like, excuse me? What does that mean? And like, but like some photographers, like I know you have it on Instagram. Do you have it on Facebook too, or no?
Have what?
Like like Facebook has like a review section.
I don't think I have it on Facebook.
But like if that's something that they do, offer it. If you have criticism, be constructive. Always. Never just be like, I hate you. That's not a review. That's just bullying. But like if you say something along the lines of like, some of your communication was not clear with posing. I've had that a lot. Earlier I was doing a shoot here and I had a costume and I told the photographer, I was like, it covers my eyes. I can't see. And they were like, can you turn your head this way? And I'm like, this way? And like couldn't. So like if she had said left or right, that would have been really helpful. And I did tell her that in person afterward. I was like, hey, just so you know, like I couldn't really tell what you were trying to, wasn't picking up what you were putting down if you got it.
I don't think that phrase is usually used that way.
It's 12:30 a.m.
All right. Well, we need to.
Yeah, we've got a half-hour buffer, so we can go through this.
Okay.
Quickly. So if you don't like your photos, which does happen sometimes.
Yes.
We have both talked about that a little bit.
Yes. So just basically offer like constructive criticism. Just be like, hey, you know.
Like I said, my skin tone looks off.
I had a client one time be like, hey, can you turn the saturation down on this? Or, you know.
Jesus. Okay. They're raving.
They are partying.
I can like feel it.
Yeah, it's vibrating.
Okay.
And then just be like, you know, nice about it, but be clear so the photographer can learn.
Yeah, because just saying like, I don't like it, like
that doesn't help.
And sometimes
anyone.
you don't know what you don't like. Like when it was my skin tone, I was like, I don't know what happened, but it doesn't look right to me.
Yeah.
But I was able to say like, it's my skin tone. It looks too brown. Okay, like I don't know what you did because I don't know how you edit it, and I didn't see the raws. But that's still better than like, it's ugly. I hate it. You're bad at this. So like, just be constructive, be as specific as you can, because a lot of times it's fixable, and a lot of times if there's like, or I've had body paint and like I didn't have like tights because I was wearing a shirt, but the shirt lifted, and I was like, could you just like paint my little stomach bit blue, please? Because I didn't mean for that to happen. And if there's an error in your costume, like if your wig was everywhere, if your jacket was flipped up, if your sleeve was weird, that's not the photographer's fault. Like, make your costume well, and if you have an error in your costume, just recognize that's not it's not the photographer's job to fix your costume.
If your costume isn't complete,
they can't.
I can't finish it for you in Photoshop.
Yeah, there are some things that are fixable in Photoshop. Some people Photoshop their body paint on. Obviously,
I have done that.
Yeah, discuss that in advance with your photographer. Sometimes I had one photographer, and I don't know how they did this, but I have this one costume, and when I was sewing it, there's this little tiny wrinkle in the front, and it bothers me, and I happened to mention that during the shoot.
Did they smooth it out?
They did. They smoothed it out like so nicely, and I didn't know that was like possible. Like they did it so well, and it was really great. I've had a photographer that was able to like make someone's wig look more full. Yep. Like that kind of stuff.
I can also do that.
And like if that's something you want, communicate.
Yes.
But like if you have like a very flat wig and like that's how it looks, and that's not the photographer's fault, tease your wig.
Yeah. Just like I said, respect the limitations of your photographer.
Yeah. Like your costume will look how it looks in the mirror. So if you are not happy with that, if you think that something needs to change about it, change it on your costume. Don't put that on the photographer to change it. They can fix little stuff. They can't change what your costume looks like. Yep. It's always great when they can do the little things, but you know. And I'm gonna just pop our. Do you have something else?
Yeah.
Okay, you had the mic up.
Oh.
No, you're fine. So I'm just gonna pop our information up there really fast. If you want to chat with us in the future, if you want to just like say hello, you're welcome to take pictures of this slide if that's easier, because I know we all have.
You can just slide into our DMs.
Slide into our DMs. I have a lot of message requests right now, but I'm getting through them after Momocon.
You could. Hold on.
You got this.
My brain lost it.
Yeah.
Um.
You can leave us a review on the Momocon
Yes,
app.
that is what I was gonna. Yeah.
So it's definitely not required, but it does show that this panel was interesting.
And that does help us a lot.
Yeah.
Because we want to take this to other cons.
We do.
And we want to like share this information because it's important.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things you don't.
You're also
think
welcome
about.
to say like, "Hey, Momocon, why was this at 11:30 at night? I would have liked to see it during the day." And like, that's the best review you could give us.
I would like to not be falling asleep in my chair.
Absolutely.
Or maybe that's our fault.
Yeah. And like Momocon does have a busy schedule. They're doing the best. But like if there's interest, if there's clear interest in something, it gets better time slots.
It helps us. And then we can help you.
Yeah. And they gave us a great room, which is...
This is a nice room. All right.
Yeah. So that's what we got.
Thank you guys very much.
Unless anyone's got any questions, actually.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Does anybody have questions?
Didn't think so. Small audience.
Well, it's fine. It's
no, you're
late.
valid. It's late.
You're all valid.
Go.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not really a question, but I have a story.
Oh.
Story.
Oh boy.
If it's a
go for it.
Relatively quick story.
Yeah, because we're
I'm
five.
trying to get your opinion on it, but I'll make it really fast.
Yes.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes over. So
give us the speed run.
Okay. I just have a friend who she got photography done, and I know that it's the photographer's property. But they took her photo and reused it in a way that was like they manipulated it, where they made her look very unattractive, like a different creature, and they called it like something like the Gremlin or something.
Oh,
that's not very
no.
nice. Yeah.
Without consent. I didn't for the repost.
Yeah.
Please drag that photographer.
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm
I've had a situation. Yeah.
I bought a cosplay photographer photo shoot, and then they were like, "What if I reuse this photo to show off my
editing skills?"
Yeah. So legally, the photographer does have the right to do that. Unfortunately, I've had a situation where a photographer, I think they essentially just like took the smoother tool and put it over my whole face, and like I contour like decently well. I think I kind of know what I'm doing, and it was like gone, and like I didn't have a nose anymore. And it was like really bad, and so like it's in their right to do that. Unfortunately, the best that you can do is like express that you're not okay with that. And express that you don't like that your photos are being used like that you didn't consent to it. And I believe it's just kind of basic decency at that point to not use someone's image in a way that they don't want.
I would just tell them to approach the photographer and be like, "Hey,"
and be like very clear, like I didn't say.
I didn't appreciate that.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, what did they
drag him?
What did they do?
no.
Oh, okay. So then. If you've tried to do it the polite way, then you take receipts, and you get receipts, and you're like,
yeah.
Our panel's over, so I can cuss again. You can be like, look at this shit.
Yeah.
This photographer is bad.
Yeah.
Please do not book them.
Yeah, and like I said, cosplayers talk. Like, spread the information that someone's using photos without, like, and not in a way that was consented to. Connections, yeah. Because like I have kind of just like this group chat with like a lot of, they're mostly Florida cosplayers, and essentially we will just pop in and out and be like, hey, this photographer's kind of weird, hey, this person's kind of weird, and like we all trust each other, and like we're never doing it to like defame someone, but it's like honestly like a lot of photographers won't post their negative reviews, so like you can give them a negative review and they can just choose not to post it.
So just get the word out there. Be like, hey, this photographer did this. It was not appreciated, and they were not willing to change that or remove the photos. So let's drag them through the dirt.
Yeah. Like, I think on both sides you gotta give like some basic respect for like the other person's wishes. Like like the photographer has legal rights to do what they want, but that doesn't make it nice. Like, it's also like legal in some places to like yell hate speech, and that doesn't mean it's like a nice thing to do.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, I think any other questions, comments, concerns?
First
We get it, it's late.
Child.
Are we taking children?
If they want to give them.
I think I'm good. I don't want any. I'm a teacher. I don't want any more.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, you can, I can make a contract. You can sign your soul to me.
All right, is this the photography contract that we're talking about?
Yeah, that is actually what my contracts are like. They are just.
They're you signed in blood.
Yeah, you know,
you.
just prick your finger. It's fine. Just it's what all photographers do now. You